everyone. I'm Autumn with lowkeyr&b, and today we have Mariah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm
Awesome.
good. So let's get first started. How you started in music. You're from Louisiana. How has your upbringing connected you to pursuing music?
Oh, so my mother is very, very heavy in music herself.
Oh,
To be more specific, she's very heavy in the gospel industry.
yeah.
So I was born and raised going to church. I still do that, friend, every Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. I am right there in the choir, but she has been producing different types of music. She's been involved in the choir. She's actually a minister of music still currently.
Wow.
And she's been doing that since she was 8 years old. So she's been doing that for quite a while. But I definitely got my musical upbringing from her. I really got the taste and the love to really deep more into just different genres of music from her. And then, of course, her very rigid vocal coaching, which, now that where I am in this place in my life, I'm very grateful for.
Mhm.
So I definitely got that upbringing from her. And then my grandmother is also very musically inclined. When my mother was a child, she would actually bring different people in from the church and she would teach them how to play the keys. So it's definitely a part of my bloodline.
Yes, I love to hear that, especially with R&B artists starting in the church and everything. Like that's very, sometimes people say it's so uncommon now, but I definitely think it is not. Like it
Right.
starts in the church.
It
Starts
does. It definitely starts in the church.
So, who are some artists that you listened to growing up?
There is so many, but I'm just gonna condense them down to three. Michael Joseph Jackson. Yes, I have
Yes.
his whole government name. Uh, I used to have my hair cut like him in middle school, like the little swoop, not the jigger,
I
the
was about to say
swoop. The
the
swoop. I had, baby, I was walking down the hallways with that. I knew where to put the tape on the fingers. I knew everything. I had a stuffed monkey. I called that monkey Bubbles. Like I was not playing. Okay, I was not playing with Michael Jackson. Um,
yes, the
Definitely
greatest.
Layla Hathaway as well.
Mhm.
Her spirit, I actually got to meet her. My mother brought her down to Shreveport, Louisiana to, I say to minister, because she ministered into my spirit when she came to Shreveport. And she is such a beautiful, beautiful soul. She represents her father, the late great Donny Hathaway, so beautiful and majestically. And then I would also have to say Stevie Wonder. I heard that a lot. Either I heard the Clark sisters or I
Mhm.
would hear Stevie Wonder. And when heard either one of those two artists, I knew that it was time to get up and start cleaning. You know what it is. Every
Yes,
Saturday
that's
morning,
yes.
yes, it was time to get up. So definitely I condense it to those three artists.
Wow, yeah, definitely. Those are all legends too, absolute legends. So a great plethora of artists you listen to, and it definitely shows in your music. I was going to ask if you had any church or gospel upbringing, so you answered that for me already. So besides your music career, you're also a nurse. Like how do you balance between the two? When I read that, I was like, girl, how do
Yeah.
you do that? How?
I definitely have to say it's nothing but the grace of the Lord and the ability for Him to give me strength to be able to pursue two totally complete different careers at the same time. I definitely, for the first 3.5 years of working as a NICU nurse, and for
Mhm.
those that don't know what NICU nursing is, that's neonatal intensive care. So I deal with the babies, premature, all the way up to the chronic, unstable, stable type of children. And I did that for 3.5 years nights. So I would be in the studio pursuing my music career all day. And then I would change clothes and then go straight to work for 12-hour shifts. And then I would take a nap for 2 hours, get up and do it all over again. So I did that for 3.5 years until I switched over just recently to day shift now. So,
Mhm.
and my bosses where I work are so amazing. They really let me kind of change my schedule to really fit my needs. But now I teach new grads, I teach student nurses, all while still pursuing my music career. So I really have the best of both worlds with music and medicine.
Nice. I love that. You don't hear that often, so I was like, I definitely have to ask you that. That's amazing. Absolutely. And good for you helping all those babies.
Yes,
I
I
love
love my
that.
baby.
So I want to get started talking about your music. So maybe I know you previously written your songs before. Did you also help write maybe as well?
Yes, I what the grace of the Lord, I was able to write that 100%. That was my own work. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any special settings where you feel like you have to write, or does it just come up at a spring of the moment? Like, oh, this is a hook, this is a melody. How does that work for you?
It really comes spur of the moment. A lot of
Mhm,
times I'll be like in a dead of sleep and I'll hear it. I hear it in my dreams. I hear a melody. I hear words, and I have to get up in the middle of the night. And then I'll come to my studio and I'll, record it so I don't forget.
mhm,
A lot of times there'll be different situations that I've gone through, and I really like to write from a place of what I call shared or lived experiences.
mhm,
So these experiences that I go through hopefully can help someone who is currently going through it find their own answer. So I really write from things that I've gone through that the Lord has allowed me to be successful and come on top from.
mhm,
Um, and I really don't force. I don't force what I write. Whatever the Lord gives me at the time is how I write and how I, get a complete and finished work. So it really depends. Sometimes I hear it in my sleep. Sometimes I'll be driving down the street and I start, coming up with a melody in my head, and I voice notes right there on my phone. Right there on my phone, I go to voice notes, and so I won't forget, because
yeah.
sometimes you be in the moment and you get something that's very powerful, but then you go and you go throughout the course of your day and you will forget it. So I've learned, just stop what you're doing and just record while you can. Mhm.
Definitely. Because I was gonna say your maybe is very, I would say, a relatable topic. Like in the hook, you say yes or say no, like basically telling someone to, come with an answer. Like, what are you giving me? Like, so that was from your own inspiration, your own lived truth. Or I know a lot of times sometimes writers use a shared experience like from their friends.
Yes,
Hmm.
most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So I know that you've also, besides maybe, you've released Material Girl and Business, which I feel are so different than maybe. So out of those, which is your favorite? It might be hard. I know every time I ask that question, everyone's like,
Oh, it's crazy because each song is from just a different total space in my life.
mhm,
Um, but I would definitely have to say maybe. And I'm not saying that
really?
because that's the most current thing that I have out. It's because I
Mhm,
I really put a lot of emotion into that song. I really feel like people today are very comfortable with living in a gray space in
mm,
life because they're so scared of the yeses, but we're so terrified. We're terrified of the no's.
yeah.
And I've been in that place. I feel like we've all been in
Mhm,
that place when you're in a situation you really don't know what it is, but you want it to be more than, but you're scared on, what the other person may say. But you have to come away knowing that, I was always whole before I came into this, and I'll be whole exiting this. And
yeah.
I feel like we all as a people really need to live more in a place of transparency. And so that's really what that song is talking about. So I would definitely have to say maybe right now.
Maybe. Yeah. I really like that song because, like you said, and I think it's also portrayed in the media as well. A lot of times there's glamorized like situationships and everything. Everything's in between, like, are we doing this or are we not? Like, let's come to a decision together, or I'll just have to come to my own decision. And it is what it is. Like
It
you
is what it
said,
is.
it is what
Exactly.
it is. It is what it is. I was whole before. I won't be whole at the end too.
Exactly. And sometimes I feel like being in such a place of gray space, we really forget who we are. We really forget the queens and kings that we are. And I feel like sometimes we really dumb down our own value and we dim our own light because we're trying to fit in something that we were never meant to be a part of. So yeah, I really agree with that.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, it's going to be okay at the end of the day.
Exactly, exactly. That was all truth right there. So how was it like filming the music video for that? I thought the music video was also very relatable. I like the cute shots of, you're in the bathroom brushing your teeth and everything, and you go back and it's like the back and forth, like him there and him not there, kind of like showing that contrast. So what was one of your favorite parts about shooting the music video?
Really just the way that it came together. Jay Rashawn is the one who directed this. And what I really love about developing a team is I let people operate in their gifts 100%. You
Mm,
know, I will tell someone, this is kind of what I'm looking for. This is the way that I want to go.
mhm,
But I feel as though, as an artist myself, I would want someone to give me the full opportunity to really show my gifts and talents. So
mhm,
really, I'm not really picky when I know someone is operating perfectly and in perfect will with their gift.
mhm,
So I cannot take any credit for what was directed. Jay Rashawn, I gave him complete 100% control with that, and he surpassed my expectations. But I really feel like the best part, in my opinion, was when I was getting ready. That part of the music video, I was getting ready and I was texting someone, and they
mhm,
were like, "Hey, come out," and I was like, "Oh, I'm good, I'm fine." And that's really what I wanted to portray. Like at the end of the day, whether not or if you do continue to pursue a relationship, whatever you do in life, you're going to be fine at
mhm.
the end of the day. And that was like that little nugget that I really liked in there.
Yeah, I like that too. Because, like you said, like we've been saying for the past couple minutes, like you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. So how that's really interesting too that you said that you gave a lot, like you gave full creative control to the director too. Because I think, and like you said, like as a creative, you want to be able to have that full control to really express to the best of your abilities and work hand in hand with someone when you're delivering something for them. So how would you give advice to someone that might be hard to? Because I feel as though sometimes that's really not easy to give someone like full creative control of something that you created yourself. You wrote the
Yes.
song yourself. So how would you help someone who might be struggling with that?
I definitely would say to, of course, pray in everything that you do. Seek
Mhm,
wise counsel. Now, in this instance, yes, I did give full creative control, but it's also important to realize the seat that you hold. So
mhm,
at the end of the day, it is your project. But I
mhm,
did have a lot of trust in this individual, and he definitely met my expectations. Communication is so important.
mhm,
Developing a very open line of communication will really help you with your project. I always say that I can only come up with a particular piece from my vantage point or
mhm,
my point of view. But there could be several gems and gold nuggets that we miss because we are harnessing our particular project so closely to us that we could really lose the value of our own project because we are not outsourcing and getting wise counsel from people that could really elevate it and take it to a much bigger place.
mhm.
So it's really all about networking, establishing that open line of communication, and just understanding at the end of the day, you are in the driver's seat, but
Mhm.
it's okay to have people on board with you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because sometimes people think it's just because you're asking, not even asking for help. That's something that someone who has experience in doing something can elevate your work,
Yes.
add something to it rather than, just take it and go away with it. You're still, like you said, in the driver's seat. So
Right.
I love that. I love that. Um, so speaking of collabing, is there any artists that you would love to collab with in the
Ooh,
future? I know there has to be. There has to be a bunch.
it is a lot, but again, I'm gonna condense it down to three.
Mhm.
Definitely Layla Hathaway, who I just feel in my spirit, like right here. It would be amazing. Second would be Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh, love
Look, I that's all I can say is look, behold. Like Jasmine Sullivan, I there are so many things that I could say about that chick, but man, she is amazing.
love
If I were to dive back into time, hmm,
Mhm.
if I were to dive back into time, I would still do Stevie Wonder.
Mm,
I would definitely. I love the ability to be able to mix the old with the new. I
yeah.
love that. I feel like that creates such a very special lane, and
Mhm.
it helps people not to forget the greatness that came before us.
Yeah.
Because we as artists, we always are standing on the shoulders of great, great pillars, not only in our community, in our regional setting, but in our world. So
Mhm.
I would love to be able to reach back and pull on the strengths of those that came before me, most definitely.
Yeah. I think sometimes too, it's just like that perfect, like, sweet spot, where you can collab the new and the old, where it's like a newer sound, but it's still giving the accolades to the previous
Correct.
generation,
Yes.
exactly. So you're gonna have your debut EP this spring. Do we have a release date? It's okay if you don't, but I wanted to know, do you have,
Spring,
or even like a time period, like ish
it,
realm?
well, I can't give away too much, but it's gonna be
Mhm.
this year.
Okay. Okay.
But if you follow me on my social media, so my Instagram is I am Mariah Official, my Facebook is Mariah Hester. Subscribe to my YouTube at Mariah Hester. I have so many things coming down the turnpike, y'all. It's crazy. Autumn is crazy. Like the floodgates of heaven is about to open.
Yes.
But since I don't have that green light, you gotta follow me so I can tell you what's coming on down the turnpike. But I will tell you, we get into that warm spot, so it's definitely coming.
Yes, absolutely. Like you just like hit like my last question too, because I want to make sure everyone can follow you to keep up with your music.
Yes.
So what do you think is something that fans can expect from your debut EP too? Like what is something that you really want to resonate with your fans?
I want people to come away, and I say this all the time, but I really do mean it. I want people to come away leaving full. I
Mm,
feel like music is such a very strong medicine in and of itself.
yeah.
And contingent upon what you listen to, it can either heal you or it can make you sick. And I like to be in the music of ministry. I like my music to really really tell a story and people to come away with answers. I really feel like with this EP that everybody is going to have something that they love. I really like to say that my EP is a melting pot
Mhm.
of different ideas, of different types of music, different types of instrumentations, different types of stories. And so it's all just blended together. And I like to think that me as an artist, I'm very eclectic
Mhm.
in my sound. And so I really feel like people are going to come away loving something and everything. Somebody can talk about a different topic with my EP. So I'm so excited for it.
Yay. I'm so excited. It was so great speaking with you today. It was
Likewise. For real, it was a pleasure and it was a joy.